Kirishima is stronger than Deku. This is not clickbait, I swear. Kirishima is definitely stronger. Okay, no, not that definition. Yeah, that one. More durable. Well, of course Kirishima is more durable. That's his whole quirk. But more than that, Kirishima can tank Deku's attacks. Let me explain. Alright, let's start with what durability even is. Durability is the ability to withstand pressure and damage. Let's take this random person, certainly not Mineta with a hat on or anything, and throw a smooth pebble at him. Sure, it'll hurt, but it won't break the skin, leaving a cut, because his skin is more durable than a rock. There wasn't enough pressure placed on his skin to cause harm. Now let's take something sharp like a knife, like a pencil, a little more family friendly. If this random person touches it, nothing happens. But if the pencil is pushed onto the skin, eventually the pressure will be greater than what the skin can resist, and it punctures it. Very simple stuff. Okay, there's one more nerd thing we have to talk about before getting to why Kirishima is the best, and I'm not biased, so shut up. It's the concept of Newton's third law. We've all heard it. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and that's how we all live. Think about walking onto the sidewalk. You're putting force onto the ground, with gravity and mass and all that, but the ground is putting the same amount of force upwards to keep you there. That's why in anime all the strong characters leave craters when they punch or even walk, because they exerted so much force onto the ground, it breaks. Even when All Might was fighting that Nomu in the USJ arc, that Nomu exerted the same exact force back in order to resist being pushed back. Well, until the end, of course. That's how shock absorption works. Any less force and the Nomu will be pushed back, and any more force and All Might will be pushed back. Got it? Cool. So we need to find the most damage that Kirishima has endured, and that was a lot harder than I thought. We have to go all the way back to the sports festival, and more specifically Bakugo vs Kirishima. A very short-lived fight with, spoiler, Kirishima ultimately loses but endures a lot of Bakugo's explosions, which is the important part. These same explosions were later used to destroy Todoroki's ice, and ice is surprisingly strong. Well, not ice ice, like don't try to attack people with ice cubes, but there are different forms of ice from ice 2 upwards to ice 15, which all have different crystalline structures and densities. When you freeze water, it expands and turns to ice. That's the norm. But what if the ice was placed in a situation where it couldn't expand? That's how Ice 2 and all the others are made. We see that Todoroki has incredible control over his ice, so it's not a stretch to see his ice as Ice 2 or something else. As Ice 2 is technically the weakest, we'll look at that. Ice 2 is formed while keeping ice compressed at 300 megapascals or 43,511 pounds per square inch, or psi, and at negative 75 degrees Celsius or negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, is Todoroki's ice really that cold? Well, in this world where Lego Head Man exists, yeah, I believe it. But if we look at these robots used in training, I guess everywhere at MHA, Todoroki is able to freeze them solid. And with most robots being made of steel, it needs temperatures around negative 30 to negative 100 degrees Celsius to freeze, depending on the purity of the metal. So we made it. And as we learned through the definition of durability, since it takes 43,511 psi to make ice 2, it's strong enough to endure that weight as well. Oh my god, all of this for ice, but we're almost there. In My Hero Academia, Heroes Rising, both Todoroki and Kirishima were fighting Chimera, which was an amazing fight by the way. Anyways, Todoroki made a giant ice wall to block Chimera's laser attack. This defense was useless as the laser completely obliterated the wall, which means it greatly surpassed the 43,000 psi number. Notice how I said obliterated. This laser attack is not a true laser, as it doesn't burn on contact and isn't monochromatic. I have to clarify that to avoid people claiming the attack just melted the ice. Kirishima was able to withstand this laser for about 5 seconds before reaching his limit, so that's his upper bounds. So Kirishima caps out around the 43,000 psi mark with his durability. Now how strong is Deku? I am not opening that can of worms, because I am nowhere near qualified to give a correct answer, but I did use a human punch force calculator using 7.867 square inches, which is the average surface area of a fist, and zero point 0.3 seconds for the punch delivery time. In order to get 43,000 psi, the fist has to be moving at 18,552 miles per hour. And according to the internet, all my speed is anywhere from 372 to 22,250 miles per hour. I'm not an expert, but that's a pretty big range, and something I don't really believe. I think All Might, therefore Deku, is much faster, but these numbers are what I found from not a fan calculation, so I'll take it for now. Since Deku has only mastered about 45% of One For All, not including Faujin and Gear Shift and all that stuff, That means Deku moves around 167 to 10,012 miles per hour, which doesn't seem correct. But that means Kirishima is strong enough to tank Deku's punch. That doesn't include gear shift or Fajin or one for all at 120% or even more than just one punch. But I told you it wasn't clickbait. Did I massively highball Kirishima's feats and lowball Deku's abilities? Maybe, but it was just for fun, trying to put some respect on my favorite MHA character. If you have more correct numbers, put them in the comments down below so I can correctly say how much Deku whoops Kirishima. Hopefully you learned a lot because I had to learn about ice. So yeah. Alright. Peace.